Welcome to Frax Check, your weekly Frax vibe check. I'm your host, Capital K, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, DeFi Dave, and our producer extraordinaire, Sam. And we also have a very special guest with us this week. We have Jack from the Tie, and he's going to come in later in the latter part of the show. But before that, we're going to straight to the source of truth via checking the chain. But before we jump in, please smash that subscribe button on the Flywheel Pod. And follow us at Flywheelpod on Twitter and Telegram. I know. The last 2 weeks were painful. But guys, this week, we see some sunlight. Just a light streak of sunshine down yonder in the horizon. So I'm excited to dive in and take a look. But I have also more good news. I wanted to do a quick special side slide here to highlight our profitability in September. Because remember, last week we ended at September 27th or so we didn't get to see the full month end. And here's what it looks like. We ended the month of September at 690K LFG.
Didn't you only expect like a few hundred K? So like 6,900 is like more than expected.
That's convenient. That's weirdly convenient to me.
I expected around 300 to 400, but CRV's rewards just kind of plow through this at the end of the month in September. So I was like, fuck yeah. Sam will beat that out. But anyways, before we celebrate too much, this is a 30% decrease from August's numbers, though. So we're still bear market vibes. We're not quite, where we are previously.
Hey, revenue.
Hey, you know what? Profits are profits. We're not losing money.
Dude, most protocols are in the red. So
yeah. We're in the green by 69. We're deep in it. Okay.
We should do it. We should do like a top. This is for a later show. We should do like a top 5 list of like the best revenue generating protocols. And
I'm sure Jack can help with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a lot of opinions about what exactly it means to generate revenue, though, and Dave has heard me rant about this stuff, so I'm very interested in entering this discussion.
I think we all are. This has been a topic of discussion in many of our previous podcasts. Maybe we're going to have to do like a longer segment for this.
Yeah, we will. But let's get back to the Frax Check, and let's begin with our regular programming with the peg. So we saw it get as low as a 0.998 this week and at a high of, $1. So peg check, strong. So it's quite bullish, right? Given the general market drawdown, we're still holding steady there. And now we look from a market swap perspective, taking 100 million Frax, swapping for USDC from the Frax base pool gets you a 0.9989 exchange rate. This represents a 1 bips decrease week over week. So again, curve check, very strong. Moving on to our collateralization percentage, we saw this number hit another all-time high this week at 93%. And last week we were at 92.5. This week we're at 93. Now on the decent percent, I recently renamed this. I forgot to update the title here, but I'm going to call this our decent percent. And we're not very decent, guys. We are, again, making another all-time low of 14.4% in our decency. This is not great. We definitely need to bump this number up. But again, bear market vibes. So a quick summary of the health check. We have the peg at 0.998 going to $1. We have curve swap at 0.9989, very strong. Collat at 93% and decent percent at 14.4%. So not all things are rosy and sunshine, but at least we're holding strong on the peg. Now let's jump into the AMO holdings. We have a grand total of 668 million across all the AMOs. This was an increase of 1.4% over the last week. Not too big of a bump this week, however, the bump is attributable to Curve's AMO, which had a 10 million increase, and also we got 1 mil back in our liquidity AMO, which got annihilated the week prior. So slight bumps like along the way here as we see. But Sam, I would love for you to overlay that meme where it's like that guy in glasses with the mouth open and like a 1% up. Please inject that. That's how when I saw this. It was a big win. All right. Now again, I try to give you guys like a 1-2 punch with a, the bullish and the bearish. And right now, our profitability for October is at a negative 960K. But we literally just paid a fat bill on Monday, literally yesterday, on the convex Vodium bribe epoch. Yep. So, that was pricey. But again, we'll recoup this over time. And we paid about $1 million yesterday. High price, but that's the cost of revenue here. Now, moving on, we have our summary of the money check. We have 668 million in all the AMO holdings, which is a slight up of 1%, and we are in the loss of 960K so far for the month of October. And here's my favorite section, as everybody know. This is where we look at the liquidity of the Frax base pool against 3 pool and Frax 3 CRV. And this week, however, I am happy to report that we are up to 97% of the 3 pool. Last week we were 95. So we're slowly trying to reclaim the throne here, boys. And, the gap is tightening, okay? Just additionally, I got a treat for you guys where I charted where we were previously. You see that red line? That's when we flipped the 3 pool. And right now we just did the back flippening, which Dave coined 2 weeks ago. But as you can see here, we're like kissing the line. We're just flirting with it right now.
We need to make those memes where, like the Bitcoiners were like, Bitcoin is never going under $20,000 again. We need to make some of those for the base pool where it's like, base pool is never like going under 3 pool capitalization ever again.
You just need to make a rainbow chart for Frax BP versus 3 pool, and it'll never go below it.
Yeah, no, we have to. We need to meme this thing into existence. But so far so good, guys. 97%. Maybe this is the upswing that we need to overtake the 3 pool again and reclaim the crown. But let's transition over to the meta pools. We saw a slight decrease this week in the meta pool of about a 2%, but we're still holding very strong above that 60 mil line. So clearly there's definitely a PMF, product market fit, and I'm excited to see more projects partnering with the Frax base pool. As you can see, we kind of grow in these like spurts. We kind of consolidate, then grow, consolidate, then grow. So hopefully we get to see another one coming up soon. Now, summary. The Frax base pool's TVL is about 829 mil. We are 97% of the 3 pool. The meta pool, we're at the 62.5 mil, down 2% week over week. And remember, we do all of this for this one slide, and we want to see this number go up. And again, here, Sam, maybe you could inject that meme with the guy's face with the 0.14% going up, because we did increase the Frax supply this week, boys, by I think it's about a 20K move. So pretty good. Not red.
Positive is positive.
Positive is positive. That's right.
Yeah.
Positive is positive. But, I'm even more excited when we have, Frax Lend kind of hitting its strides, right? We're definitely going to see some increase of the Frax supply there for sure. But that's it for this week's Frax Check. Now I'm going to hand it over to DeFi Dave for our governance roundup.
Thank you, Kiet. Good to see positive developments along the objective Frax Check front. In terms of Frax governance, it was mostly quiet this week. There was only a few proposals in there. We had FIP-115, which is your standard at Frax BP gauge proposal. It was proposed by C2TP. This time it's to add a Badger Frax BP gauge. We also had another proposal from Fringe Finance, who is offering the Frax DAO to open a line of credit on the platform to access over 400K in USDC. This is not going to pass. I don't see this passing whatsoever. But the most interesting and important, I think, proposal that I've seen on there is actually FIP-115, which was written by myself and Jack, which is to actually have Frax join the TIES pilot program for institutional outreach. And that's why we have Jack here. Jack can go into a little bit. Jack, thanks for joining the program. Can you give a little bit of an intro to yourself and what you're proposing?
Yeah, of course. No, so Thank you for having me on first and foremost. I'm a big fan of Frax, as you guys personally know. I may have interacted with some of the Frax community before. I've been around for a while and love writing about the protocol. It's really interesting as a thought experiment, and it's even more interesting when you see it put in practice and see how it works. And so I personally started in traditional finance. I learned about crypto by coming through the application and the DeFi layer, honestly, primarily, rather than the blockchain layer like a lot of other people. And I really understand the way a traditional financial investor would look to this stuff and get interested in it. And so when we, at the TIE, which is the company that I work at, we're looking to help bridge that gap, we've kind of approached it in a variety of different ways. So I lead our research team. A lot of what we do is trying to translate traditional finance fundamentals on chain and help try and bridge that gap, and not in kind of like a ham-fisted, I'm going to throw the same model onto everything and assume that it's only universal, but rather looking at intricacies of stuff like tokenomics, the story that each project is trying to tell, and the way that they're realizing that thesis in the supply structures that they create and the flywheels that they work in, right? And so that's what makes DeFi fun, and it's part of what makes it really complicated for other people to get into. And so here at the TIE, we have a institutional-only data platform. I know there's a few people out there doing the whole Bloomberg of crypto thing. We say that because it's convenient to describe what we do. But ultimately, we are the largest data aggregator, I think, in the space at this point. We work exclusively with institutions. We have around 150 on board, and now we are really looking to combine that and give tokens the opportunity to tell their story through data, right? In the same way that you are presenting with Frax Check. Hey, here are the actual stats. I'm trying to show how they relate to the thesis of Frax, and you can make your own decision from there. Like, we believe that data transparency is the single most important thing for institutional adoption. And then secondary to that is accessibility, right? And, you know, for better or worse, I'm comfortable on Telegram, but not everyone is. And so, you know, the other day I'm at the Chainlink conference. I was talking to someone very senior from a traditional company who asked me for help getting an intro to Chainlink, right? And that's literally kind of the situation that's going on here. And so there needs to be some element of bridging the gap, which I think Flywheelpod does a really, really good job of filling right now in the absence of a full marketing arm from core Frax. And having talked to a lot of the Frax dev team, I feel that between us, we have a very good vision of not only where Frax is headed, but how we can tell that story in a way that makes sense to institutions. And so basically, you can read the full proposal if you want to get a scope of all the deliverables. But basically, the goal is for, at minimum possible cost to the DAO for a year, we're going to put Frax in our pilot program, which is limited to 20 tokens. It includes some of the largest tokens and protocols in the space. Like, the only two confirmed that I can share are Avalanche and Polygon, right? So big stage that I believe Frax deserves to be a part of, right? And so the goal is how can we work together with the smartest people and get them in front of institutions. There's a set of concrete deliverables, including a research report, seats for the team on the TIE terminal platform, which will allow institutions to message them, the team to message institutions. So it's a bi-directional relationship. Schedule directly with the calendar. We do a virtual roadshow that's, hey, let's put the team in front of as many institutions as possible over 3 days, right? And give them exposure directly to the source, right? No second order effects, no lost in translation of a research report, right? Like, we love we love the Frax dev team. We brag that they're like the hardest working, like sickest guys in the game, the smartest fucking chads, right? Like, let's show them off. Like, let's give them 3 really focused days a year where they're like, I'm going to meet with 25 of the biggest institutions in the world, you know? And so that's kind of the goal of what we're trying to put together. And this is very much so a proof of concept. And so that's why we're asking for $25,000 for a year. Literally, like half of that is just our cost of operating the terminal. That's what we would charge for a year of institutions. And so basically, like, the other half of that is just covering our costs of data science, of writing research, of putting together roadshows, all of these things, right? Like our goal is not extracting money from Frax. Our goal is increasing data transparency. And Dave can speak to this to a degree. He's seen the terminal. This isn't something, again, the other concern that we really have is maintaining credible neutrality, right? Like it's only useful if it's unbiased. And we as a company don't own tokens. We don't have a VC arm. We don't invest at all, right? And so all we do is sell software, sell data, and our goal is to we already offer a ton of unbiased data on Frax, for example, and on every other token. And so this is just to supplement that and add to the narrative because, Frax is, again, in this bucket of tokens that deserves to be seen by institutions for a variety of reasons, but also requires a little bit of hand-holding to get people there. And so given that we've come to you, I've come to Dave as my savior, and now I come to the Frax community and just ask for a chance to try and put something really cool together with the Frax team.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Couldn't be more excited about this. Like that's why I co-signed it with you. I think this is a great opportunity for Frax to get more eyes on it, for people that actually understand Frax, because there's all different kinds of investors. You have your retail, you have kind of like your sophisticated degens, and then you have your institutions. And institutions like that, they play in a very different field and operate in a very different way, that they're not just going to go sign up for Telegram and Discord and get spammed by like all these different bots and whatnot. It's just not really feasible. So you guys are really bridging the gap, this like really needed communication gap between protocols, which are very sophisticated, advanced, on the cutting edge, such as Frax, and these institutions that may not have the resources, may get really aggravated real easily. Because the institutions are coming, it's just a matter of like how, it's just a matter of like hurrying them in the right direction, and like the TIE has presented like a great path for them. And so like I'm super excited to like get this going. I really hope the community is as well. Like I co-sign it, and I hope you guys too. And so if people had like questions about it, like I guess they can ask in the forum, like where can they find you or reach you?
100%. Ask in the forum. I will be responding there. You can hit me up on Twitter. I am always shit posting and responsive there. And if you really need to get in touch with me, Dave can get you in touch with me over Telegram. Like I'll even be responsive there. We really just want a chance to show off some of the really cool stuff that crypto is doing and show it in a way that's actually palatable and catered to these different demographics, and then even give you more data, right, as the Frax team, about how are we going to be smart about going to market within different demographics, right? Because, you broke down between retail and DeFi whale and institution, but then ultimately within institution, there's 20 different kinds of institutions. Yeah. And some of them care about Frax and some of them don't. And some of them might have cared about Frax 6 months ago and might care about Frax 6 months from now, but don't care about it right now. And so there's so much nuance to the actual landscape of the institutional side as well that we can help provide a lot of color on and say, hey, X, Y, and Z are the right people to be talking to. And, you can just, it's as simple as going on Messenger on the platform, typing in the name of the organization, seeing if they're there, and then sending a message to the person if you want to get in contact.
And the platform's extremely customizable. Like any Frax-related content, such as Flywheel content, like all these Frax checks can just be uploaded for institutions to watch. The Fraxland episode can be uploaded to watch. Like anything. Yep. So like a really good resource for them, like all organized in one place.
Yeah, exactly. Centralizing as much data as possible. And honestly, if you're an institution and you go into the Telegram and you're like, hey, I run a $100 million fund and I'm looking to get more info in Frax, you probably just get banned, or 8 people immediately reply to your message like copy-pastaing it. And so it's hard to get taken seriously, and so it's nice even from the perspective of a Frax admin knowing, oh shit, like this is someone I have to take seriously when they do message me. And then the counterfactually, like when I do want to make efficient returns on my time in terms of outreach and all these things, how do I go about doing that given that I don't really have an understanding of the current landscape and where it sits? And so again, that's what we're trying to solve for, but don't want to take up too much time on the podcast, and appreciate being given the chance to show what we're building.
Of course. Thanks for joining, and we definitely got to have you on again for another researcher episode.
Oh, you name your time. I love being a part of the research.
Have you looked into Frax ETH at all? Have you studied that yet?
I've started looking at the Frax ETH stuff in depth. It's something that I'm really, really excited about. There's a lot of really cool possibilities on it that people haven't even started diving into as much depth, even in terms of like stuff like block building and rewards from that and what that could mean for Fraxwheel down the line. And so many different avenues to look into. I'm just scratching the surface there, but I can't wait to see what comes out there.
Yeah, we got a special episode this week coming out for that, and
I can't wait for that one. You give me the alpha, I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're known for here, just straight alpha to the veins.
True.
Well, this is this week's edition of Frax Check. I'm joined by Capital K, Sam, and our very special guest, Jack. And Jack, where can people find you on social media?
You can find me at YoniJMel on Twitter, and you can find the Ty at the Ty.io on Twitter.
And you can find Flywheelpod on Twitter at Flywheelpod. Join our Telegram at Flywheelpod. Don't forget to push that bell notification on YouTube. Subscribe to us. We are almost at 900 subscribers. Wow. It's awesome. You can follow me on Twitter at DeFi Dave 22.
You can follow me at 0xcapital_K.
And always, I'm at traders_insight.
And we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.